If change ever wanted to sneak quietly into the Bunker household, it picked the wrong address. Nothing sneaks into this living room. Everything announces itself loudly, gets questioned aggressively, and is cross-examined by Archie Bunker like it just tried to steal his wallet. So when Gloria announces she's pregnant, the news doesn't float gently through the room. It slams into the furniture, knocks over a few long-held assumptions, and immediately triggers Archie's internal alarm system, which only has one setting: panic disguised as outrage. Archie's first reaction isn't joy or congratulations. It's suspicion. He narrows his eyes, clears his throat, and asks questions that sound like curiosity but are really attempts to regain control. Are they sure? Did doctor confirm this? Which doctor? What kind of doctor? Archie has always believed that if you interrogate happiness hard enough, it will eventually confess to being irresponsible. Edith, meanwhile, is already glowing. She hears pregnant and instantly jumps several emotional steps ahead to grandmother, filling the room with warmth, optimism, and the kind of gentle excitement that makes Archie uncomfortable on a molecular level. Gloria smiles, a little nervous but determined, while Mike stands beside her like a partner instead of a guest, which, to Archie, is already strike one. Then Gloria explains the plan. Not just that she's having a baby, but how. She wants a natural birth. No unnecessary interference. And Mike will be with her. In the delivery room. The sentence barely finishes before Archie reacts like someone just proposed live television coverage. He sputters, protests, and waves his hands as if the idea itself might contaminate the furniture. To Archie, childbirth belongs in a mysterious category of life events that should remain unseen, undiscussed, and preferably handled by professionals behind closed doors. Men, in his view, have exactly one role during childbirth: pacing somewhere far away and complaining about the chairs. The idea that Mike wants to be present doesn't register as loving or supportive. It registers as deeply unnatural, bordering on suspicious. Mike tries to explain, calmly and respectfully, which is always a mistake when dealing with Archie. He talks about partnership, about sharing responsibility, about being there for Gloria when she needs him most. Archie hears none of it. Calm explanations feel manipulative to him. He trusts volume. Volume feels honest. So he raises his voice, declares the whole idea ridiculous, and insists that this is just another example of modern nonsense that will eventually pass, like bell-bottoms or whatever it is he currently blames for society's decline. Edith attempts to help. She gently suggests that maybe it's not such a bad thing for a husband to support his wife, that times are different now, that people do things differently. Archie looks at her like she's betrayed him. He doesn't want reassurance. He wants confirmation that the world is still operating under the same rules he memorized decades ago. Gloria doesn't back down. Pregnancy has given her a clarity that surprises even her. She speaks firmly, explaining that this is her experience, her body, and her choice. She isn't asking permission. She's informing. Mike backs her up without raising his voice, which somehow makes Archie angrier. Archie would prefer a shouting match. Shouting at least feels familiar. A united front delivered calmly feels like a coordinated attack. Just when the argument reaches peak bunker intensity, Archie introduces a second emergency, because if attention is going to be divided, he intends to reclaim it. Archie announces that he doesn't feel well. Not mildly unwell. Not under the weather. He is convinced something is seriously wrong. He lists symptoms with theatrical detail, connecting unrelated events into a narrative of impending doom. He was near someone. Something happened. Something must have transferred. In Archie's mind, this is clearly the beginning of a medical saga. Edith suggests calling the doctor, because that's what sane people do. Archie agrees, then immediately becomes enraged by the process. The answering service irritates him. The recorded voice offends him personally. Edith carefully leaves a message, apologizing to the machine, repeating their address, trying her best to be helpful. Archie scoffs. Waiting feels like surrender, and Archie does not surrender. So Archie decides to take action. He heads to a clinic muttering about how the doctors used to answer their phones and how the world has gone downhill since people started relying on machines. The clinic represents everything Archie distrusts: shared spaces, rules, equality. He expects immediate attention and is instead greeted by a waiting room full of people who also believe their problems matter. Archie reacts badly. He announces his condition loudly, hoping volume will move him up the list. It doesn't. The staff remains calm, professional, and unimpressed. Archie grows more indignant by the minute. Being treated like everyone else is, to him, the ultimate insult. When he finally sees the doctor, Archie presents his case like a lawyer arguing before a jury he assumes is already on his side. He explains his theory in full, detailing how one thing must have led to another and how the conclusion is obvious. The doctor listens patiently, examines him, and delivers the most disappointing diagnosis Archie could imagine. There is nothing seriously wrong. No major illness. No dramatic condition. Just stress, anxiety, and a body reacting to fear. Archie is not comforted. He is offended. If he's not seriously ill, then why all the worry? Why all the fuss? Archie wants his panic validated. He wants proof that his fear was justified. Being told he's fine feels like being told his outrage was unnecessary, and Archie has never accepted that easily. Back at home, the two storylines collide. Archie returns from the clinic deflated but still stubborn, armed now with medical frustration and emotional whiplash. The pregnancy conversation resumes, now flavored with Archie's bruised ego. He brings up religion, tradition, and the way things are supposed to be, using them as shield against a future he doesn't recognize. Gloria asks reasonable questions that make Archie uncomfortable. Why shouldn't a husband support his wife? Why should something natural be hidden? Why does change automatically mean disaster? Archie doesn't answer directly. Instead, he deflects with jokes, sarcasm, and exaggerated mockery. Humor is Archie's favorite defense mechanism. If he can laugh at something, he doesn't have to admit it scares him. And that's the truth beneath all the noise. Everyone in the room is afraid. Gloria is afraid of losing control over her own experience. Mike is afraid of being excluded. Edith is afraid of conflict tearing the family apart. And Archie is afraid that the world he understands is slipping away, one unfamiliar idea at a time. He just expresses that fear by yelling at it. The comedy comes from a mismatch between Archie's reactions and reality. A baby is coming. A husband wants to be present. Medicine is calm and boring. None of this is catastrophic. Yet Archie treats every development like it's a sign of civilization's collapse. He doesn't adapt quietly. He resists loudly, insisting that if he complains long enough, the future might reconsider. And yet, through all the arguing, something holds the family together. They don't walk out. They don't stop talking. They clash, yes, but in this house, clashing is a form of connection. Gloria and Mike stand firm without cruelty. Edith continues to offer kindness like an endless supply. Archie grumbles, protests, and refuses to budge, but he stays. He remains in the room, engaged, involved, unable to fully disconnect even when he claims he wants to. By the end, nothing is completely resolved. The baby is still on the way. The birth plan is still modern. Archie is still deeply uncomfortable, but the family hasn't fallen apart. They remain loud, stubborn, mismatched, and undeniably connected. Because in the Bunker household, progress doesn't arrive as a peaceful agreement. It arrives as an argument that lasts too long. It arrives as discomfort everyone pretends is temporary. It arrives as life moving forward whether Archie approves or not. And Archie, for all his resistance, ends up moving with it, complaining every step of the way, but moving nonetheless.